Asterisk the wind that evening carried a strange heaviness, the kind that warns you something is about to change forever. In the cold parking lot of the Shanghai Grand Hotel, the lights flickered against the misty drizzle, and a young woman stood frozen near the black limousine. Her heart pounded as she heard the guards whisper rapidly in Chinese words that chilled her blood. She wasn't supposed to understand them. They thought she was just another foreign maid, sweeping floors and keeping quiet. But May had lived in Beijing long enough to know exactly what those words meant. They weren't talking about security routines. They were talking about eliminating someone, and that someone was the man about to step into the car, her employer, the kind-hearted millionaire who had once saved her life. Asterisk, before we go deeper into this unforgettable story of courage, kindness, and destiny, take a moment to show your love and support. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of doing what's right, even when you're afraid, please like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to Kindness Speaks. Your support helps bring true, heart-touching stories like this to life. Asterisk May's story began far from luxury cars and marble hotels. She grew up in a tiny mountain village in Yunnan, where her parents worked the tea fields from dawn to dusk. Her childhood was quiet but hard. When her father passed away from illness, May moved to the city to find work. She cleaned apartments, washed dishes, and sometimes slept on park benches when money ran out. Yet through all her struggles, she carried one thing, her belief that kindness, no matter how small, always found its way back. Asterisk fate had brought her to Mr. Alexander Grant, a British businessman who had built a global empire from scratch. He was in China to expand his company, but unlike most wealthy foreigners, he treated every worker with respect. The first time he met May, she was working as a cleaner in his hotel suite. When he learned that she was fluent in both English and Chinese, he offered her a full-time position as his assistant. For May, it was a miracle, a door to a new life. She worked tirelessly, translating documents, handling calls, and making sure everything ran smoothly. For the first time in years, she had hope. Asterisk, but that night, the night everything changed, hope was replaced by fear. The air was thick with tension as two of Mr. Grant's newly hired security guards murmured near the car. May had overheard them earlier in the hallway, speaking too quickly, too carelessly. She'd caught a few words. Accident tonight. Make it look real. At first, she tried to convince herself it was a misunderstanding, but when she heard them again by the limousine, clearer this time, she knew it was no mistake. They planned to stage a car crash. Mr. Grant was not supposed to survive. Asterisk. Her hands trembled as she clutched her small handbag. She glanced toward the hotel entrance, where Mr. Grant was talking on his phone, smiling politely as always, unaware of the danger. Rain dripped down his coat, and the guards opened the car door, pretending to be professional. May felt the seconds ticking like thunder in her chest. She could run away, pretend she'd heard nothing. After all, she was just a maid. No one would believe her. But then she remembered how Mr. Grant had helped her when she had nothing, how he had given her a chance when no one else would. And she realized she couldn't stay silent. Not tonight. Asterisk. She rushed forward, her voice trembling but clear, begging him not to get in the car. Her sudden outburst startled everyone. The guards glared at her, their faces turning cold and dangerous. "Sir, please," she said, her eyes wide with desperation. "Don't go with them. Something's wrong." Mr. Grant frowned, confused but sensing her sincerity. In that single instant, something shifted. He saw the fear in her eyes, and he trusted her. Asterisk. Instead of stepping into the car, he turned and motioned for the hotel manager to call the police. The guards immediately panicked, trying to flee, but were stopped by hotel security before they could escape. What followed was a scene of chaos and disbelief. When the police arrived and questioned the men, the truth came spilling out. They had been hired by a rival businessman, someone who had lost millions in a recent deal and wanted revenge. If not for May's courage, Mr. Grant would have been gone that night. Asterisk. When it was over, May stood under the flickering lights, soaked in rain and shaking from adrenaline. Mr. Grant approached her quietly and placed his coat over her shoulders. He didn't say much, only looked at her with gratitude so deep it brought tears to her eyes. The next day, the story spread like wildfire across news outlets. Maid saves millionaire's life by understanding hidden plot. But what the headlines didn't capture was the quiet strength behind May's decision, the moment when fear met faith, and kindness won. Asterisk. In the weeks that followed, Mr. Grant offered to send May anywhere in the world she wanted to study. She chose to stay, not out of obligation, but out of purpose. She wanted to use her story to remind others that doing good doesn't always look heroic. Sometimes, it's just the courage to speak when others stay silent. She began volunteering at shelters, helping migrant workers learn basic English, and became a symbol of hope for many who felt unseen. Years later, when Mr. Grant opened a charity foundation in Asia, he made May its director. Together, they funded education for hundreds of underprivileged children, and though May never sought fame, she became known as the whisper listener, the girl who heard danger and answered with kindness. On quiet nights, she still remembered that rainy evening, the voices, the fear.